All right, we're live, and this is so exciting. If you are watching the replay, I am so glad you're here. My name is Gina Paris, and I believe that just like you, I was born for this hour. You might sometimes feel like you are under the circumstances. Sometimes we say, well, how are you doing? And you might say, oh, pretty good under the circumstances. But I hope that by the end of our half hour or so today, that you will feel like you are never under the circumstances, but that you are more than an overcomer. And so if you don't know me, I'm the founder of Built to Win Coaching. 20 years ago, panic attacks and anxiety, they nearly ruined my life and my dream career. And the Lord really helped me through that, through a whole bunch of different ways. And as I began to share all the things that I learned about stress and panic and anxiety, I started being hired by really high stress professionals and professional athletes and helping them achieve breakthrough and helping people all around the world achieve a sense of peace and calm and purpose amid any kind of pressure has just been part of my life's work. So you're in the right place, and you can know that there is more than enough goodness right now amid any kind of chaos. There is more than enough prosperity. There's more than enough provision, and panic doesn't have to rule over you. So what we want to talk about tonight is how literally to see a solution and a breakthrough, no matter how hopeless things seem. So I have some fun things for us to take a look at today. And I just want to take a moment to start from a place of peace instead of panic. And so one of the first things I like to do is really take some deep centering breaths. Sometimes I call them square breaths because we'll breathe in a square. This is what we learned from our Navy SEAL buddies, right? Breathe in for 4, we'll hold it for 4, exhale for 4, and hold that for 4. So for those who join in, they'll probably wonder what I'm doing, but let's just follow along. Let's take a deep breath. Hold that. And exhale. Through your nose is the best. And hold that. Let's do it again. And hold that. Exhale. And hold the exhale. This time I want you to really tune into your body as you do it. Try to just get really focused on your breath. So one more time, breathe in for 4. And hold that breath. And exhale. And hold the exhale. Awesome. I love to remember that in the creation story, God made Adam out of the dust of the earth, and he formed him, and he breathed into man the breath of life. And even today, you don't have to be a spiritual person to know that our breath is really the connection between our physical realm and our non-physical realm. And so sometimes I joke about those of us who kind of mix where faith and woo, or science and woo, science and faith and woo. I don't even know what woo means. And Strengths Finder 2.0, woo is my strength, and it means you're able to help win people along. But I think in a lot of the world, woo means you're kind of into woo-woo stuff, and it's weird and it's intangible. And so hopefully today I'll help sort of break through a lot of that intangibleness and that mysteriousness of what it means to really operate on a higher level. So let's just establish a few key beliefs that will be more empowering. Because everything that you're experiencing and that I'm experiencing is a result of our thoughts and our beliefs and our emotions that propelled our actions up till now. So your future is actually not dependent on your past. It's dependent on your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, right? It's dependent on your actions. And the problem is, so much of our action is driven by these same 60,000 thoughts that we had yesterday that repeat from the day before and the day before and the day before. And a lot of them, they are our subconscious brain, Cassandra. They're part of our subconscious brain, which is just like the huge iceberg below the surface of that little bit that we see. And so that's why so many of our thoughts are just recurring, and they drive our behavior and they drive our reality. And we think it's our reality. Like, we think everything that we're experiencing is real. And so I'm not one of these people who's going to say, oh, the coronavirus isn't real. And then like, I hate that. I once heard somebody say poverty isn't real. If we shouldn't look at it, because when we look at it, we make it real. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the absolute perversion of this message. What we want to know is that we are gifted and we are equipped to tap into solutions from heaven to these very real issues that are in the earth. So right now, as we calm down and we get centered and we're able to hear from God, we're able to bring peace amid the pandemonium, and you are able to prosper right where you are. And it might mean that I'm trying to think how much to tell you. It might mean that tomorrow you have this breakthrough idea, or it might mean that things look worse before they look better. But guess what's the important thing? How you feel can triumph over all the external stuff. Okay, so track with me for a minute. Why do people do anything? Why do we buy the things that we buy? Oh, because we need them. Wait. Why? Why do we go the places? I mean, especially think about for discretionary income and the people that you get to hang out with when you have a choice. Why do you spend money on the things that you spent them on? Why do you buy the things you buy? Why do you go the places that you go? You can say, well, because it's fun, because it's valuable, because it'll make people think, if I wear these designer clothes, which I clearly don't, but if I were, then maybe it would be because I would think, hey, people might think I've got a sense of style. If you have a sense of style and want to be my stylist, you're hired. But, why do we do all the things we do? Because ultimately, look at you guys, Krista and Cassandra, we do them because of a feeling that we're promised. We're promised a feeling. Every commercial on TV that is selling all the sexiest things, which of course they sell with sex, from cars to perfume to I don't know. What else? How does marketing work? And this sexy thing that you wouldn't expect to be sexy. Kitchenware. I don't know. But it's always because that's one of the more powerful marketing pieces, because most people want to feel some sense of power and sensuousness and freedom. Carefreeness. Listen, everything is for a feeling. So you have access to the feeling first. And it's not just a feeling. So the first belief I want you to have is that right now, your experience is in a large part due to your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. All right. So number one, everything you're experiencing is a result of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, and how they drive behavior, but also how they, inform what you're looking at. I always say our state is determined by what you're looking at, the self-talk about it, and then your body language. So, hey, Shara, we're rocking. We are focusing on that state. And so all of that is it's in your control. So if you're focused on an input that's coming to you with no discretion, like from the news all the time, well, that's probably going to affect your state. So I want to talk about how your brain works. Your brain works to keep you safe. And your brain is constantly editing out. It's editing out all the data that's around you so that you really only see what's meaningful to you and what aligns with what you already believe is true. So let's do something. I think I want to show you this banner. I want to show you this picture. Oh, let me see. Did Cassandra ask me? I'm using StreamYard, Cassandra. Let's look at this. I want to ask you, well, first, let me explain how something works. Your eyes take in all the data that you're seeing, and then but they're not like your eyes are not just cameras and boop, that's how everything works. It's not like that. Your eyes take in data, and then that data hits the back of your eyeballs and turns into all these different pieces of energy. And these little cells in the back of your eyeballs, they're processing it all. Maybe a billion, but at least 100 million cells behind your eyes. And they're taking all this data, and these cells all have their specific jobs. And then they take that, so they don't all see the same thing. Some see red, some see green, some see motion this way, some see things coming this way. They're all programmed to do a different job. And so as that data goes through those, then they become these signals, and it goes through your brain. And then as to make sense of it all, it gets processed through the right side of your brain, where everything is spatial and image and emotion, and it's all programmed from your whole life's experiences and expectations and beliefs. And so if you see something, you think it's the absolute truth, but it's completely filtered through your expectations and beliefs. So some things we just don't see at all. And I'm making the case tonight that God has a solution for you. I have heard all kinds of panic tonight. How are we going to make money in this crisis? How are our bodies going to be healthy to fight this crisis? How are we going to withstand the economic collapse? Listen, one thing that you should know is there is no such thing as a good economy or a bad economy where you're concerned, especially if you're a child of God in a heavenly economy. The point is, no matter where you are, there's good investments or bad investments. There's good places to build a business, and there's bad places, but there's always beautiful opportunities for giving solutions. So have I created, let me see if anyone can comment. Have I answered some questions about how your eyes and brain works? Did anyone learn something new just now? Shara, I need more of you. I sound like the slimmer party here or something. Did anyone learn something? You're probably trying to cook, or, the beauty is you shouldn't have to try to type me an answer, but I hope that I've opened your eyes to this idea that none of us really truly sees accurately unless we learn to draw and stuff like that. So we are going to, yay, Shara, I'm glad you did. Elizabeth, yes, there's always more ways to serve. And as we're serving, that is how we're going to become more powerful and more prosperous and live in this. We live in a place of abundance, but we want to serve from a place of abundance. All right, let me see if I can show you something. I wonder if you see this. Can you see that FedEx logo? I don't know why I made the whole thing transparent. Okay, can you see that FedEx logo? Oh, I'm looking closer. I think maybe they stole my brand colors. I never noticed that. Huh. What do you see in the FedEx logo? Do you see any designs in it? If you're like into branding and logo building, you might know this already. Any comments? Yeah. Oh, good. Hey, Shara, do you see an arrow in this FedEx logo? Oh, okay. Siri, not talking to you. My Siri is a male with the Australian accent. Okay. Does anyone see the arrow in the FedEx? A lot of people don't see this. Let's see. Kelly, do you see the arrow in the FedEx logo? Oh, yeah, you do, girl. You see it. It is right here. I'll show you a second picture. Let me see. I have to come right here. Okay, do you see it? See how they outline it right there? Oh, I'm using my cursor. You can't see my cursor. Do you see it in blue between the E and the X? How many of you have never seen that arrow before? Let me know if you've never seen it between the E and the X. Yeah. Most people, if they are not shown that, they don't naturally see it. Oops. I'm going to, I want to show you another one. You're kind of like, Gina, really? Yeah. This. Do you ever feel like all you see is an obstacle? Like, there's no way we can do it. There's no way we can do it. There's no way we can do it. We've just hit a wall, hit a wall. If you haven't seen this brick wall before, tell me if you see anything unique about this wall. Any of you? I know there's kind of a delay between when I am speaking to you and what you're seeing. So if you have noticed anything in front of you, in front of this wall, I'm like staring at it, still looking at you. If you see anything unique about this brick wall, let me know. This is hard for me because all I see is what I'm about to show you. So it might be super obvious. Like maybe I got a bad photo and yeah, there's a spot. You're like, hey, where's the mortar? There's some mortar missing. I might have thought that. So what that looks like. Good. Well, as you're thinking about that, it's no big deal. I just kind of want to have that in the background. And you know, I've been thinking about my man, Winston Churchill. I love Winston Churchill. Guess who painted this picture? Yeah. Okay, good. We're supposed to say what it was, Sam. But if you think of Winston Churchill and you think of him always smoking a cigar, and then you look back at this brick wall, you just think about, what if you just think about seeing a cigar or holding a cigar or getting with your buddies and smoking a cigar on the back deck like all my boys do. It's their male bonding thing. Or you join a cigar club like the one downtown Nashville. It's $25,000 a year for the luxurious opportunity to smoke cigar in the boys club with no girls allowed. I have no desire to crash that club. Yeah. Who can you guys all see it now where you kind of saw missing mortar? The first time I saw this, I just started thinking, somebody just had me start thinking about a cigar. And then I looked again at that picture and then I'm like, oh, wow. Let me see. Let me see if it's not there. And now you're looking at it like, wow, look at that. It's not that it's no mortar. It's that there's a pointy shape of mortar that's sticking out there. So awesome. So yes, Elizabeth, you see it. You've seen it. It is weird, but that is just the point that optical illusions are not the whole main gist of my talk tonight, but it does reinforce this idea that we don't see what's in front of us because we're programmed to shortcut, to see shortcuts. Like our left brain is like, oh yeah, that's a wall. That's a wall. All I see in front of me is a wall. And so the reason that I wanted you to relax a few minutes ago and really get in touch with your body, and then talk about the fact that everything we do is for a feeling, is because when you can change your focus to what a solution would feel like, and then start to just get in touch with heaven and ask your imagination, what are some possibilities? Then you literally change your energy, and your brain starts rewiring its routes to find solutions, to find how to make that happen. And there is such a thing as the law of vibration, because everything in the world, we know from quantum physics, everything is vibrating at different frequencies. And so a lot of our friends call this the law of attraction, that we attract things based on our energy. But really, everything that you're seeing and experiencing is a vibrational match to what's going on inside of you, and in your energy, your mind, and your will, and your emotions, and your words. Those words that you speak from an overflow of your state, they're creative. So the Lord says, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Well, from the abundance of God's heart, he spoke the whole world into being. And so I want you tonight to start raising your expectation, or raising your emotional state to something that's more in line with solutions and answers. And so a lot of us that are on speaking right now know the same business mentor. Let me see where y'all are with your comments. Pedro Adeo, and he made a point today in a call that I have heard before, and I think this is so important, about whether or not this crisis is short-lived or long-lived. It just really behooves us to really release the when and the how that our dreams need to come true. And this will help you see a solution, probably in the very, very short term. But he made the point that during World War II, when there were concentration camp victims, prisoners that died, so many of the ones who died were the ones who had these false, like, liberty dates in their head. They'd say something like, oh, we'll be out of here in 2 weeks. We'll be out of here in a month. We'll be out of here by Thanksgiving. We'll be out of here by my birthday. And every time there was an arbitrary date, like, oh, we'll just make it there. We'll make it there. And then breakthrough's coming, and God's deliverance is coming, and all his miracles coming. Well, when these arbitrary dates gave way to just disappointment after disappointment, they couldn't take it anymore, and their spirits gave out. Whereas Viktor Frankl and all those survivors, they were like, I don't care what it takes. I am not dying in here. I'm getting out. I don't care if it's next year, the next year, 5 years. I am not dying in here. I am going to get out. I'm going to see my loved ones again. Granted, the disappointment, we won't even go there on the other side. But listen, it's the same thing with people who are sick. I remember my favorite teacher in Bible school from Christ. This class was called Christ the Healer, and Keith Moore was my teacher. And we would have a prayer and healing school after class every day. And he would talk about the ones who were on death's door that would survive. And he'd say, man, you could whisper, and all they could do was whisper, and they'd be like, I'm going to live and not die. I'm going to live. I'm going to live. I'm going to live. Listen, if all you can do is whisper, I'm going to live, you need to do it. So we're going to stay in this state of expectation. Like I talked about yesterday, let's not be sober with unbelief, but be drunk with expectation. And in that expectation, it means I know something good's coming. I know something is right here. I know that I'm not going to die in this place. I know that deliverance is coming. I know that even right now, my faith is giving substance to it. When I am afraid, I will trust in you, oh God. And so as you stir yourself up to be in this place of faith, then you release the outcome of when and how. Okay, when and how. Because all kinds of factors are involved that you can't control. But let's just start thinking. I want you to pick one thing. Thanks, Vicki. Class in 1985. That was just like a few years ago, wasn't it? Let's pick one thing that is stressful around you right now. It could be relational. It could be health. It could be financial. All this uncertainty. Just take a breath. And I want you to imagine, what would certainty feel like if you could be 10 years down the road? Think you'll have this figured out 10 years from now? Pretty sure, huh? So 10 years from now, you were looking back on this month and you're saying, wow, remember that? That was so hard. Right, Diane? Let's think forward. I love you. Think forward to 10 years from now. And looking back this way, we'll practice back from the future thinking. Wow, what did it feel like to break through and find this equilibrium amid the chaos? What did it feel like as you looked back and you thought, oh man, I remember it clicked for me that I don't really see accurately. And if I start picturing a solution instead of the problem, I can start seeing solutions. And I'll start having conversations with other people who had ideas that I didn't, that they came together and we had this synergy. And remember, I started believing that all things were possible. And I remember it was at that dark, dark day in March. We called it March Sadness because there wasn't even any NCAA tournament. It was horrible that year. St. Patrick's Day, I know green beer and basketball. Well, you might not have green beer, but you're looking back and you're saying, that was the time that I learned to praise God no matter what. That was the time that I learned to say, all of this is happening for my good, not for my destruction. And I was born for this moment. I was born to comfort people in this time. I was born to use that idea that just came to life. And look at us now. So I want you to start thinking about it. And so let's go forward and picture yourself. What's it look like to be so happy and healthy and fulfilled in 10 years, walking in your divine inheritance, so healthy, such happy relationships, jumping up and down saying, look what the Lord has done. This decade was amazing. These last 10 years started with this chaos and look at how amazing it's turned out. What's that feel like when you say that? What might it encompass? Where's that intersection of the problem that you love to solve and the people that you love to serve? Oh man. I'll tell you, if you're watching this at any time, you're part of that for me. I love those who are like, I want to know. I want to know how faith and science and neuroscience and all fit together so that I can lay hold of the impossible to bring these solutions to my generation. That's where it starts. So I would love, love, love for you before tomorrow to get out some paper and some crayons or some kind of a journal. And I want you to draw with a crayon. I want you to draw some kind of image that represents you being part of the answer. What does it mean? One of the guys that I follow on LinkedIn is from here in Nashville, and he has a all American made company. All the manufacturing is American. So if shut down manufacturing from China, he's not hurting. You know, his stuff's kind of expensive, so the market could be a challenge, but part of the solution is, hey, we've got this supply chain. You know, what do you have in supply chain? What do you have in comfort? What do you have that brings healing? What do you have that brings hope? You know, my hero, Winston Churchill, somebody once asked him, what is it, you know, during World War II, what is it that England brings to the world more than anything? You know, what's the most valuable thing about England? And he said, you know what we are in England? We're a stand for hope. We bring hope. And of course, if he had not been able to rally his nation the way that he did, the world would look so different today. And I feel like there's a similar kind of power in the earth right now, really trying to take culture a different way. And so what's it mean to bring hope in hopelessness? What's it mean to bring health amid sickness? So I would love for you to start with that big picture and then ask, what would be something practical? What might people pay for? What's worth money to people? I'll tell you, there's money I'm still spending right now for things that they matter now. So you can have access. You have access to things. There's something you can sell. There's something you can stand for. There's somebody you can serve, and it's worth money. There's a way you can understand yourself better. There's a way you can receive unconditional love and then give unconditional love that elevates you to a place of peace and joy. Absolutely. In fact, let's focus more on love than needing love. Let's focus more on abundance than needing a bailout. So as you do that, and as you're just picturing it, I'd love for you to, you know, whatever you're seeing, what's the opposite energy feel like? If you're seeing sickness, what does health feel like? You're seeing people in isolation, they can't get out. Like, what's it look like to serve them? Hey, can we go bring delivery to people that can't get out? If people are crushed, what does rejoicing look like? So these are questions to keep asking yourself. Where's the market for this? Do I need to change my pricing structure in my business? Do I need to go smaller instead of bigger? God has the answer to you. But if you want better answers, you want to ask better questions. So that is what I want to help you with tonight. So the big thing is understanding that your brain is not really seeing the opportunities right in front of you. So the way that you see opportunity is you get clearer and clearer and clearer on what's a pain point that really is touching you. Because if it really moves you, there's a good chance that that's the thing that you're called and anointed to bring a solution to. Okay, does that make sense? So that is your assignment today, how to calm down, prosper. We know the word says, I pray that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So as your emotions are healed and your heart is healed, and then your consciousness, your level of thinking, Einstein called it consciousness. You're like, no problem is solved on the same level of consciousness on which it was created. So that's what I mean by your consciousness, what you're able to see and feel and be aware of. It comes up higher so you can solve those problems. You absolutely can do this. So your assignment before tomorrow is to get out some crayons, Draw some picture. It can be of a thing. It can be of a person. It can be stick people. You, you as a stick person, doing something that feels like solving a problem. And then tomorrow, I will touch on some more ideas for creativity. So tomorrow, I'll use the board. I didn't even write anything tonight, but we'll do that, and it's going to get better and better. So how do you calm down and prosper now? You know that when you control what you can control, your focus, your self-talk, your emotions, and your state, and you choose love and rejoicing and peace, that as you do, and you start being curious instead of furious, like the worst thing you could do right now is try to blame anybody. If you become curious instead of furious, wonder what would be the answer. Come in the opposite energy and ask the Holy Spirit, give me answers. So I'm going to pray for you before I log off. So Lord, I thank you so much for each one who's watching this live and watching the replays. And I thank you that even as I'm speaking, that you're stirring up their hearts. I pray for those who have been so deeply, deeply disappointed in the past, and where all of this is triggering fear of it's going to be like that. Nothing works out for me. That there is such a healing in their whole timeline, that all that pain of disappointment is so soothed. It's if they need to forgive themselves for stupid thing they've done, that there is forgiveness towards themselves, and there's forgiveness towards anyone who contributed to that situation. Lord, let them release their need to bring judgment. And I pray that as they do, as they relinquish any vindictiveness, that they're able to receive your unconditional love and realize that you're the good shepherd who leads them beside quiet waters, and you restore their soul, and you guide them in paths of rightness for your name's sake. You teach them how to profit. You teach them how to profit. You're showing them how to prosper, because you've anointed their hands for wealth in this hour to bring solutions and solve problems. Yeah. You're anointed. Put your hands on your chest and say, I'm chosen. I'm anointed to bring solutions in the earth right now. I'm anointed to bring solutions. I might partner with someone. I know everything in the kingdom is relational, but I'm anointed to be part of the answer. And even this week and even tonight, I'm receiving answers. Yeah, very good. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, I see our friend Terry says if your thoughts are not part of your solution, they could be part of the problem. So control your thoughts. It's 100% true. We think our thoughts are so accurate, and they're so often, if they're not aligned with this book, they're not true. In fact, usually I try to read from the chapter of the day, so I forgot to do that tonight, just now. But there's this one I want you to know. The character of God is a tower of strength, for the lovers of God delight to run into his heart and be exalted. All right? So God right now is your strong tower. You can run in. You're safe as long as you can let go of your worry. Sometimes it feels like, well, I'd be irresponsible. I need to worry and figure it out. There's no control in that. You choose gratitude. Choose those thoughts and ask these questions. What does my solution look like? What does the solution look like? How can I bring a solution? So no matter what, going under, it's not an option. You're not going under. You're going over. All right? So inbox me, send me a message, let me know your biggest takeaway from this. If you came in late, I hope you'll go back and watch the beginning and or just listen to it. I should put the audios on. I can't think too far ahead like that. But hey, you keep playing to win, and I'll be right here in your corner. Good night.